What's your take? I gave a perspective on, because people are saying, hey, I don't buy this Noushin argument that Skip Bayless offered her $1.5 million to sleep with her. And Marcel, I've come with the explanation of, look, that's lawyer spin, that probably what Noushin argued, because Noushin and Skip, from my eyes, were very, very close. Saw them together constantly. She did his hair. They seemed very friendly. And my deal is like, I think Skip took this competition with Shannon Sharpe too far. And the next thing you know, he's trying to compete with Shannon Sharpe in the sexual Olympics, in the flirtation Olympics with the hair and makeup people. And so he done got so comfortable with Noushin that they joking back and forth. And so at some point I could see him perhaps saying something flirtatious and her saying, well, I wouldn't do that for $1 million. And he's like, I'll give you $1.5 million. And at that time, it's all funny and games. When a lawyer hears it years later, it's something completely different. But I thought, and again, I said on the show yesterday, I was like, look, man, I told all of our guys that would speak for us, I was like, hey, look, we doing a black show. We don't want the reputation of, hey, we're in here trying to bang everybody. Period, end of story. There's so much friction our direction. Let's don't give them anything to talk about. Others did like to connect with the makeup and wardrobe people on a whole different level. And so people are saying, I can't believe Skip would do that. And I'm like, yes, he would. And, he may not mean it, but yes. Are there ways that could happen? Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw your take on that, and hearing you now, it's interesting because, like you said, when you have to go retroactively into your experiences and convey those to a lawyer, a lot of times the tonality is lost in that moment. So was that said in jest? But it's a joke into it's for real, like, did Skip say it? Literally, did he say it? I wasn't there, but I could see a context in which, even in jest, you're just saying it. Like you said, a locker room, man, for $1 million, I'll do that. Man, for $2 million, I got you. And, that lands differently on a piece of paper than it does coming out your mouth. But the thing that really hooked me about Noushin's allegations and the lawsuit was reading through it, page by page. And I'm typically skeptic of these allegations and lawsuits. One, because I was a defendant in one, and I knew mine 18 pages. I knew the world didn't have the attention span to read all 18 pages or the concern for me to read all 18 pages. But I swear, I dared the world to read page 1 to 18 of mine and tell me you think this is true. Not because it's me, just because there's no way that could happen. But reading through Noushin's through 1 through 42, I started to realize, she said things that I knew were true, and now I'm reading them. And there were multiple things that I was like, whoa, I heard that from that person. Whoa, that actually happened in that date. And you guys precede me at Fox. I wasn't there till 2018. You guys were there before. So some of these things were eye-opening, but a lot of the things I saw were like, whoa. And that made me say, I got to take this one with more than just a grain of salt. Because if she's dropping these situations, these circumstances, and I know that to be real, how much of this is real? Is it all or most of it? But I know that some of it for sure is.
I think every bit of it is based in some element of truth.
Yeah.
But it's all been put through the lens of a competent, skilled lawyer that makes it a bit more sensational and a bit more lucrative.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a follow-up on Skip Bayless, and you can pass on it if you don't have a take. But my read on Skip Bayless, working there for 4 or 5 years, was that he's somewhere on the spectrum in terms of he's not a normal person. And I don't mean that but he's somewhere on the spectrum. He's an odd duck. And so in real time, I'm watching him interact with Noushin and others, and I'm not thinking it's some kind of sexual thing. I think it's like Skip don't like to really mess with other on-air talent, so he's befriended some hair and makeup person, and that's who he does his talking to other than Whit Album. And he talked to Whit Album constantly. But who's another executive there that, anyway.
Yeah.
And so I didn't read anything sexual into Skip Bayless and Noushin. In retrospect, I think I had the wrong read because we found a clip of Jay Crawford, who used to work at ESPN and work with Skip Bayless, I think on First and 10. Have you seen this clip I'm about to play?
Let me see it. I'll tell you after.
Let's play the clip.
On the actual story where they came to blows, and I think it said they ended up outside the studio on the New York City streets, like that's not exactly how it happened. But I still got a big kick out of reading it, being there and watching it firsthand, because what happened in the meeting, it just randomly came up. Skip somehow leans back in his chair and he said, "I've had more sex than everybody in this room." And we were all looking at him like, first of all, what kind of thing is that to say? You know, like I said, we're not in junior high. Secondly, apropos of nothing we were talking about, Woody may have been, bragging about a conquest or something, and Skip just shoots him down by saying, "You have no idea." And so from that point, it comes up on the air, which stunned me. But Woody would do that. Woody would take the thing that should have been left in the meeting room and bring it to TV.
The clip here.
Sometimes it was gold. Sometimes it wasn't.
So Skip Bayless in an argument with Woody Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I done laid more pipe than anybody in this room. That's not the Skip Bayless I thought I knew. It's like, that puts Skip in a different light.
Man, like when you said he's on the spectrum, I know exactly what you're saying, because Skip is obsessive compulsive. Like his mannerisms, his regimen, he will do the same thing every day. And you're like, yo, you're never going to change it up? And he's never going to change it up, right? He's going to take that walk to that little desk. He's going to write down all those notes. He's going to have his meetings the same way, et cetera. Like his regimen of working out, everything, right? So I get what you're saying in that respect. And that can make somebody who gets competitive about anything become obsessed with it. So I think the 2 + 2 is somewhere between 3 and 5 in this one, because I never looked at Skip as someone who was up there trying to mac on everybody in the building. I never saw him have those type of relationships, et cetera. So like you, whenever I saw Skip with any person, I was like, probably he's trying to help them out. Like he's trying to either give them another rung on the ladder to climb up, because I'm Skip Bayless, I run this joint. Or, hey, it's good to know other people, but I'm not trying to get in with you. We know that crowd. We know the crowd that was trying to holler and go hard in the paint. And I never thought of Skip in that way. So the 1.5 million still lands with me. Like at most it was said in jest, because if it was said for real and Noushin is really like, yo, this is something that $1.5 million, we don't have a lawsuit. Like $1.5 million. If Skip Bayless is starting the conversation off with $1.5 million, you can get somewhere with that, and we don't have to go to this place. So I think it was said if it was said with a smirk and a smile.
But there are people, Stephen A. He was on his deal. Oh, that's not the Skip Bayless I know. And I'm like, do you really know Skip Bayless? Because I would have said the same thing until I saw the Jay Crawford clip, and I was like, oh, Skip, he got some dirty Mac in him. And you're just not making that kind of gesture conversation. And so he was so caught up in his competition with Shannon Sharpe I don't know if you, Marcellus, I don't know if you're aware, and I say this respectfully about this person because I really like and respect this person. But you know Skip, and I remember it, Skip insinuated on air that Shannon was sleeping with Jenny Taft. He made some kind of comment on air about seeing her coming up out of Shannon's dressing room with the, and Jenny Taft snapped. She snapped on air, and then she really snapped off air. And you know, went up to Whit Album's office and raised all kinds of hell. But again, if you've locked into this competition with Shannon Sharpe, and Noushin is saying Shannon Sharpe he accused me of sleeping with Shannon Sharpe. He's on air, and people can go find this. He's on air insinuating that Jenny Taft, who was married, very wholesome reputation. He's done this on air. He's seeing ghosts everywhere because he's in competition with Shannon Sharpe. And I'm just like, hey, bro, you're 70 years old. You're a little geeky, wannabe athlete. Don't get into sexual Olympics with these athletes. You're not built for that. You don't play some high school ball at best. Maybe you won a state championship in sex. These professional athletes, they've been in the Olympics, bro.
Right,
Cut it
rolling
out.
down, baby. Champ of the world. I totally get it, man. You know, it's funny about Skip, and I'm gonna detach it from this lawsuit and just say Skip in general. Everyone looks at like Michael Jordan's, like you can see his competitive spirit, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, all that. Like, and there are people like that we know in sports, and everyone could kind of rally around him and say, yeah, I see it, I can identify it. But when it's a narc, when it's a non-athlete, regular person, we don't always give them the due. But Skip Bayless hates to lose. Like, it's unreal how much this guy will compete in an argument. And knowing Skip personally, the degree I do, and then watching him do his show, etc., he comes from a place of extreme pain. And all he's trying to do in these arguments and in his success is to cover up that pain. The thing is, as therapists would tell you, they always say, look, if you got a glass and it's half full of water and half full of piss, crazy. They say, you know what? You can never, ever get rid of the piss by just pouring more water in it. Like, it's just going to be still always diluted. And I think that Skip, if you listen to him present day, he's still trying to pour water in there, but it's a lot of pain that he has not gotten out. This is detached from this lawsuit, but that's why he never wants to lose. That's why he told Shannon, put them glasses back on. That's why him and Shannon's relationship played out like that on air. He would go to any level to make sure I got this argument. So you beat me in the argument? Oh, well, you're not Tom Brady. Well, okay. And then now he got you off your square. And then if you want to go there, he has another level. So I could see Skip always raising the ante one more time.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.